What's up, pal? Welcome all to another episode of Tales for Wales, the one-stop shop for anything Welsh. Welsh history, Welsh people, anything bloody Welsh, we bloody love it, basically. Today we've got another exciting episode on the bout with Panama. I'm Jack Newby, as always, accompanied by what my teachers would have called a crony. It's Alan Franks.
Coming in hot, coming in hot. Inject a bit of enthusiasm because you sound like you're doing a late night radio show.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, sorry, mate. I tried. It is late night for me, mate. It's 10 o'clock in the night. That's way too late for me.
It is 10 o'clock, and we've just done a second podcast, which once again we've been blighted by tech issues.
Always. It's hard work. I was looking at the other day, and I was like, "Oh, how can we make this better?" And they were like, "Look, buy a mixing board, buy this." I was like, "Mate, I ain't got money to buy stuff." You know,
yeah, and if I do, it's not on this.
I got just enough to keep me in the booze to make these things somewhat entertaining.
Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, so we were. Oh, should I just jump straight into it? We're tired as it is. Let's jump straight in.
Oh, mate, I couldn't give a fuck about what you've been up to, so just crack on with it.
Yeah, I've been up to stuff. Google it. All right, let me start. So yeah, I'll be doing this ones. I'll be giving you the tale of Captain Morgan versus Panama City, and Jack will be chiming in like he always does. Fucking hell.
Can't let things like can't let sleeping dogs like, you know.
We're how many beers deep are you in now? How many drinks deep are you in now?
Oh, so I've had 3 Star Almonds, and this is my fourth pint of rum and coke. But that's
Captain Morgan's rum.
No, lambs, my friend. The good stuff.
No.
But also, don't judge me on pint measures. I'm basically, it's like 2 normal drinks. I just can't be asked going back and forth. You know, don't judge me. All right, you're the alcoholic, not me.
Yeah, you're saving the valuable energy, wasting going up and down the stairs to get a new pint back.
I do need to add in more steps to my counter, all right?
I've had this is my 8th can of Carling, but Carling is beautiful. It is piss water. It's so weak. It goes down like God's nectar.
The duality there, it's beautiful. It's piss water. Do you know what I mean? It's so complex. You don't even know. You don't know it's coming or going.
Well, anyway, I'll jump straight in because, like I said, we've had a few bevies, we've had a few technical issues. Let's just crack on with it. And it's a longie. This is quite a big one. So I'm going to start. So we're looking at Captain Morgan and his attack on the Spanish-owned Panama City. I read this quote from historynet.com, a website that, you guessed it, is about nets. That's a little joke for me and you. Here's a bunch of boffins telling you.
Jesus Christ. That has absolutely caught me off guard. You punched me in the kidney with that joke there. I did not know that was going.
It's, as you guess, it's a bunch of boffins telling you about history in a non-podcast form, a.k.a. the written word, a.k.a. virgins. Anyway, I quote them saying, one of the most audacious sieges of the 17th century pitted Spain's second most important city in the New World against a remarkable army that recognized not one flag, save, perhaps, the Jolly Roger. Fucking losers.
Like that, I think that's a cool intro, man. I like that.
Oh, mate, no, they sound so smug when they wrote it. Say, perhaps, the Jolly Roger.
Perchance, but no, the Jolly Roger. I think that's like what would strike fear into any sort of upper class man. Saying, what flag do they bear? None. Perchance, the Jolly Roger.
Two things. He's called Roger, and he's jolly. What's scary about that?
Hey, it's ironic. You ain't going to be jolly when the Jolly Roger turns up. Do you know what I mean?
We're pirates laced in irony.
Sad. You're going to be downright sad. The pirates loved a bit of irony, okay?
Just irony mad. What they were trying to say is this is a story about how a powerful rich city fell to the wrath of a grumglug and yobbo, a.k.a. the pirates and the crew of Captain Henry Morgan, a.k.a. the fella who flogged spice rum by the bucketful. As an aside...
He was named after Spice Rum, wasn't he? Not the other way around.
Yeah, it's a great coincidence. We're going to do a whole episode on Captain Morgan because his story is wild. But I'll really be quick about this, just to give a little backdrop into him. He was born in Llanrumney, not far from here, which is between Cardiff and Newport, in 1635. He was Barbadosed off, which is such a good word, which means you sent to Barbados. It's like a sort of slavery, but for petty crimes in the UK.
You've been Barbados off, mate.
Yeah, Barbados off, mate. But
yeah, you're going to send me to a fucking lovely Caribbean island. Yeah, do me, mate. Yeah,
it's like what really right-wing gammon men say about prison nowadays. Oh, it's like go to Butlins. This back then was like going to
you've been Butlinsed off. See you later.
Like many other white people who got their freedom after being indentured, which is a term given to the white Europeans who were shipped off to pay for their crimes. He was broke when he left it, so he cobbled together a gang of lowlives and scoundrels and destitute bastards that started to partake in the fine old art of piracy. You know that old advert? You wouldn't rob a handbag.
Yeah.
Well, these fellas, they would actually rob a handbag.
They paid no attention to that advert. They would rob a handbag. They would rob a car. They would rob a fucking DVD.
And unlike your granddad, he used to burn DVDs by the truckload. These were more the pillaging and taking of ships kind of pirates.
To the not so tech savvy as well, burn DVDs wasn't on a fire. It was like
I don't think that needed clarifying.
Well, I don't know. We might have a market, above 60 or something like that, and they're going burning DVDs. Fuck. What's that? You never got to clarify these things, mate. Specificity is key.
If we have a demographic of 6-year-olds, I'm going to kill myself. But I mean, thanks for listening.
I'm not saying major demographic, but there might be the old fringe ones that are like, you know what? I like Welsh history. I like hearing people half my age bounce about stuff.
Yeah, actually, I take that back. Please be nice and subscribe. You're
exactly.
a lovely person.
Don't, mate. We need all we can get. Don't alienate the 60-year-olds.
Anyway, so this merry gang of sea pirates, under the ruthless leadership of Captain Morgan, became renowned for their skill on the high seas. They were also soon discovered that crimes directed against vessels associated with to political opponents of the British Crown were not only profitable, but often officially condoned, as in the British were more than happy for them to do so. So the nationality of these political victims changed throughout the years, due to new treaties being signed and allegiances changing, but one of the few constants was the Spanish. The Spanish at the time, which, just to remind the folks at home, of the 17th century, were still repping the greatest empire in the world. Spain, or New Spain, as it's called, owned the entire coastal Gulf of Mexico, all the territory that is now Florida to California, Mexico and all of Central America, plus the islands of Cuba, Puerto Rico, and Hispaniola. And all of South America.
Isn't it, when you think, you always think of, when these European countries were seafaring and all that, Britain owned 70% of the world at one point, blah, blah, blah. When you say New Spain and you say names like Florida, California, you're like, hang on a minute, that's bloody America. that's
mind blown.
That's mind blown. It really is to me. I think fucking hell, yeah. And you go, well, why'd they give it up, didn't they?
Well, also, when we say owned,
simple, I imagine, but
I say owned, it meant invaded, captured, enslaved, and ruled.
Enslaved, yeah. Absolutely tyrannical rule, yeah.
It's like when I was reading up on this, the boffins at HistoryNet said, discovered by Christopher Columbus in 1494, Jamaica had been captured by the English from Spain during the course of blah, blah, blah. Jamaica wasn't discovered then. Jamaica had been inhabited by humans for since 4000 BC. But old Chrissy C discovered it. Well done, you virgin cunts.
Hey, look. It was that the white man discovered it, therefore it wasn't real until that point. That's basically what it is.
Yeah. Well, so most of these new Spain countries were incredibly rich in gold and silver, so Spain became even richer, and stinking old Britain was fuming at this. Other European nations had a few islands, but these were mostly disease-ridden and scabby, so the Spanish weren't really bothered about not having them. This is highlighted when the English/British took Jamaica from the Spanish in 1655. And Spain weren't really that bothered, as it had no precious gold or silver. However, this would be their downfall, as the trade routes for the Caribbean passed directly past Jamaica, which led to a huge amount of piracy happening in the Channel. And when moody cargo showed up at the British-owned Port Royal in Jamaica, authorities wouldn't ask many questions, as it was mostly the Spanish getting robbed, which was in the interest of the crown. So whenever like the pirates would rob from there and take it to Port Royal to sell it on, they weren't being asked where it come from because they were kind of glad the Spanish were getting like murked off.
That is like sort of corrupt police, isn't it? Like they're going like, look, I've just been robbed. Yeah, but you know, you're the wrong sort of folk, and you, so I don't really mind.
And can break. It was during this time that Henry Morgan was getting his work experience as a pirate in, and he's building up his reputation as a fine old pirate, and his crew quickly grew and made him captain. Sorry, pour myself a cheeky pint halfway. Sorry, let me just...
I'm trying to keep my dog away from the mic as well. He's come up for a little cutch, and it's very cute, but also he's like trying to boff it all the time. I'm going to try and keep him away, but...
Well, I just spilled my pint on my laptop, so you've got about 10 minutes left of this.
None of us are living the fucking dream, are we?
No, well, when I first started this, first started working from home, I cleaned my laptop that work gave me with Dettol, and I accidentally knocked out the number 5, the number 6, the question mark, and the @ symbol, and that was 2.5 years ago. So every time I want to put an @ symbol or question mark, I got to go to Google, type in Google question mark, copy and paste it, put it in.
Brilliant. Also, no wonder you're fucking moving job, mate. Cheap bastards as well. Just give you a new fucking laptop.
No, to be fair, I haven't told them. I couldn't tell them.
No, that's your fault then.
Yeah, I just didn't because I've got so much. You know, you're not meant to save stuff on your hard drive. You're meant to save it on like the cloud. I don't do that. Yeah. And all my podcast notes and stuff, everything's on here. So I didn't want to give them my laptop. I have to fucking
I hope
deal with it.
That no one from work listens to this, because the whole thing is on my work laptop because it's got more memory. It's a better laptop than I've got.
Yeah, not what your computer's got. What you've got.
What I've got in general.
Yeah. Anyway, so during this time when we were able to rob the Spanish quite easily, Captain Morgan was making his earning his stripes as a pirate, and he quickly made captain. At one point, Captain Morgan was so inspiring and successful that at one point he called up for recruits, and nearly 2,000 men turned up in 37 different ships. So he had a real range. He gave out the call saying, "Hey lads, I'm on an excursion," and 2,000 men turned up to want to join his army.
He's a real Piper of the sea.
Pirates.
Or pirates,
Pied Piper of pirates. You know, alliteration is key.
Christ, I can't believe I missed that fucking... That was an own goal right there. That's a sporting term, I know that.
You love a bit of sports, don't you? All right, so the battle, this is when we started to get into the meat and bones of it. So this battle was during a time when Spain and England were still at war, and during this war, Captain Morgan and his crew had been attacking Panama and the islands around there for plunder since 1669. Is that right? Yeah. Sorry, it says 1969 on my notes, but that ain't right.
Oh wow, it's late in the 60s.
He was
Summer in Love, baby. Summer in Love.
I forgot to mention he's also a time traveler. He really gets about.
He genuinely was a pirate in the 60s. I love that.
In 1669. But Captain Morgan had been having beef with the governor of Panama, Don Juan Perez de Guzman, and it's not Guzman the actor from modern times.
I wish it were. In my head, he's played. If it was a film, he's been played by Luis Guzman, and that is the best thing I've ever seen.
Little pig nose face.
Hey, I won't have anything bad said about him. He's a fucking treasure.
Okay. And a few years earlier, Captain Morgan had taken the city of Portobello, which is in Panama, and was under Governor Guzman's jurisdiction. After sacking Portobello and keeping the inhabitants hostage, which was like a trait he used to do, Morgan sent a ransom demand to the governor of Panama for 100,000 pieces of eight, which is a sort of pirate word for the Spanish dollar. In exchange for the 100,000 pieces of eight, Captain Morgan would spare the town and its inhabitants. So he'd often do this. He'd take the entire town captured, and he'd also kill them all unless he paid for their ransom. He also sent along a pistol as a symbol. Yeah, he is a cunt, but we'll get on to that. He also sent along a pistol of his as a symbol of how easily he had taken Portobello, and declared that he would return and take his pistol back again when he next wanted to pillage. The governor was really furious about Captain Morgan's boast, but he also did pay the ransom like a little cuck. So
that is badass, though, isn't it?
It is, isn't it?
That's a cool badass move, like, very intimidating.
Yeah. I'll be fucking back when I want you all, fucking rap.
Love how you said, like, "Oh, this is just fucking infantile. It's pathetic." But also, I will pay the 100% of the ransom because I'm scared.
Yeah. And a little extra for your trouble.
Yeah, please don't hurt me.
Yeah. So this is slightly condensed, but now a few years later, Christmas 1670, Captain Morgan was aiming to raid Panama City, where the governor lived, and it was an incredibly wealthy place, and this is where he came back to reclaim his pistol. To do so, Captain Morgan would have to defeat troops that the governor of Panama had reinforced and garrisoned at separate forts along the Chagres River, as the governor had already preempted that this would be the route Captain Morgan would take. So Morgan detached a force of 400 men in 5 ships to deal with the first fort. He slightly underestimated how hard taking Chagres would be, as the governor had doubled the garrison to 314 men and improved the defences and added an additional 20 guns to its artillery. The pirates launched a frontal assault, but were getting battered. Now, this sounds like utter bollocks. So they tried to attack the fort, wasn't working, and they decided to retreat. But according to John Esquemelin, a famous buccaneer chronicler, aka a boffin who wrote down what was happening, he said that
the loser of the pirates.
Yeah. So the nerd of the group, he said that one of the pirates was struck by an arrow. So as they were retreating, he got hit by an arrow. And apparently, the skewered pirate was so angry that he had been pinned down that he yanked it out of him, wrapped it in a bit of shirt, set it on fire, jammed it down his musket, and fired it back at the fort. And then by some divine intervention, it landed near the fort's cannons, ammunitions, and explosives, which led to a devastating explosion and led to the pirates being able to storm the fort due to the walls being blown up. Which sounds mad.
That sounds like that sounds
hogwash.
As the victories go the history books. Do you know what I mean?
The history.
That does not sound like as if. Yeah. Come on now, what are the chances of that? I mean, out of the realms of physical law, maybe not. But
the winners write the history books. That's right. It's
that's gotta be. It's gotta be. Look, at the end of the day, I got it with an arrow, and I just fucking pulled out. Didn't care.
But the reason people believe it,
I'm like, who gives a shit?
Well, the reason they believe it is because it was really the fort was holding up well, and it was just people, the men were being washed up against the wall because they couldn't get through it. Either way, it was a win, but Morgan had lost around 100 men and 70 were injured, so it was way more than he thought he would lose.
Yeah.
But once he captured it, Morgan then made a base at Chagres and left around 500 pirates there and took the remaining 1,200 troops to the Panama jungle in 1971. The governor had also preempted this.
1971. What do you mean 1791?
Yeah.
You fell for the old trick again, haven't you?
So this is
the age of love.
Yeah, I'm obsessed. So sorry. This is 1671.
You're so desperate to live in pirate times, man. You're bringing it towards the modern era.
Well, I told you this number 6 on my keyboard doesn't work, so I usually have to copy the number 6. I sometimes put the number 9 just to remind myself I got to turn it upside down because it looks like a 6 upside down.
It's just not working.
Anyway, the governor had preempted that he was going to take the troops through the Panamanian jungle. So he adopted the scorched earth tactic and made sure that the pirates couldn't loot anything or eat much, as they'd taken everything of worth and burnt the crops, making the next 8 days exhausting, demoralizing, and for the first time leading for Captain Morgan's men to question his leadership. During this march, they were also attacked by guerrilla-style units from the governor. So they're being whittled down by, in the bushes, being fired at, like constantly being kept awake at night, having a few men picked off here and there. By the ninth day, they stumbled. It is a very Welsh tactic, that. So we're having a taste of our own medicine here. But by the 9th day, they stumbled across cows and had a bloody yummy feast. But things were still not going to plan, as Captain Morgan had planned to interrogate those they captured along the route. But because the governor had everyone out of their villages and to the towns, Morgan had no prisoners to gain any intel. Things were going so well for the governor that he put around 200 cavalry behind where Captain Morgan was, so they could attack the pirates if they tried to retreat from the upcoming battle. By now, it was January the 18th, 1671. They'd been there for a good couple of weeks, and we reached the city of Panama. Governor Guzman has in some reports as many as 3,600 soldiers, making them outnumber the pirates 3-1. But still, 1,200 pirates was an absolute force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
So this is apparently the largest pirate army that ever had gathered in the Caribbean, which was a mark of Morgan's renown. And I read in an article that...
go on. Sorry, mate. Go on.
No, you go on. I'm going to sip my pint.
I was going to say, it's a weird thing to hear, I find, 2 words together: pirate army, because you never think of armies, do you? You just think of ships. You think of all their battles as naval.
100%.
But it's so interesting to see that you think about it. You think, of course they would. They'd have to dock at some point, and like to take a town, you would have to like get your men off and have an actual ground battle. And you just don't
just ask
think
your mum. She gets men off.
Oh yeah, as soon as I bloody said that, as soon as I said get men off, I was like, here he goes. He's gonna fucking clasp onto that. I thought for bloody once in our lives, he might not ridicule me in front of our audience.
The lowest hanging fruit.
Here we are. Yeah, you little bastard.
But you were right. I was literally thinking
you.
when I said they went through the Panamanian jungle. I could kind of picture them with their big cutlasses held in their mouth, walking past. I thought, fuck, that'd be terrifying. Like a pirate army, it just seems so ruthless and cruel. But again, I hadn't pictured them
just fucking chomping through the thing.
They've all got eye patches on each one and parrots going everywhere.
Parrots scouting out above, like on like Assassin's Creed games. Again, nerd reference here. Come on, Sunin, tell me where we're going.
But I hadn't. Yeah, I didn't even imagine them on the decks. But still, so I'll go back to this. And I read in an article that this wasn't just 1,200 soldiers led by a general or a prince. This was 1,200 criminals or slaves of English, Dutch, French, African, native Central American descent, led by a Welsh farmhand. This would make it one of the most multicultural armies of all times. So good on him, I suppose.
And also, I love that they'd be like dirty little fighters as well. There was no rules of combat for them. They would kick you in the bollocks, throw dirt in your eye. Like they really wouldn't give a shit.
Well, there's something swashbuckling and film-like about this band of merry men. I say merry, they did murder, rape, and pillage, so I shouldn't paint them as like Captain Jack Sparrows.
They're so wholesome, yeah.
I'll take a little break there, see if there's anything you want to add, because I know I've been rattling on. But
I'm loving all this. It's the build up is actually it's pumping me up because it's like you said, it's like a build up to a big fight in a film. If you if you ignore all the downsides of them raping and pillaging and all that sort of stuff, it's very much like a Pirates of the Caribbean-esque thing.
There's been no rape or pillaging yet because there's been no one to rape or pillage.
Well, not yet. No, exactly. so basically, they're good. They're clean.
Well, we don't know what happened. Yeah, right now it's a Schrodinger's pirate. We don't know.
Schrodinger's rape and pillage, isn't it? Have they done it? Have they not? Who knows?
Well, let's move on.
Now you might as well go on. Well, they did, but it was interesting.
So now the battle really starts with Captain Morgan taunting that he's come to collect his pistol, the one that he sent to demand a couple of years before, like I mentioned. Yeah, it is a pretty badass, isn't it? He's like, I'm back to get my pistol, bitch. And you're still called Louis Guizmon, bitch.
Take your pistol's name out your fucking mouth.
Take my pistol's name out your fucking mouth. Again, a
depending
reference
on
I'll be months old.
Depends on when we release this one. It could be it could be well before, could be well after. Who knows? It won't be before, will it? Obviously.
It won't be before. No, I'm going to edge my bets. It won't be before.
Fair.
So the governor sends out the cavalry in an attempt to quickly smash the pirates, but the pirates set up just in front of a boggy terrain, which the cavalry get stuck and blasted by muskets. And so often we read about battles being based around boggy terrain. It always seems to be the underlying effect.
I love that even though they're in fucking, was it Panama? Captain Morgan's going,
Welsh tactics.
I remember my ancestors, the old Welsh tactics. Leather bog. I fucking leather bog.
Yeah. So as I was saying, they got blasted by muskets and the cavalry got stuck in the mud. So what they try and withdraw or they try and turn around, but that's really slow. So they actually end up losing way more horses and men because of their slow turning around in this boggy marsh. Then the Spanish released... Right, this is wild. The Spanish released oxen and cattle into the pirate ranks to try and stampede them to death. So whoever's idea that was, whoever's idea that's made a fatal error. Like what I'd say is a glaring mistake. They forgot, right, that cows aren't usually used in war because they're fucking cows. They're best for
not
milking.
Militarized, really, are they? Usually, you don't ride them into battle, do you? For a reason, probably.
You don't really remember they didn't make a war cow film. Anyway,
I mean, I'd fucking watch that if they did.
watch it. Yeah, it would be way better to watch. Okay, so the cows understandably got scared by the pirates shooting at them, and they stampede in the wrong direction and kill the Spanish troops, which is fucking
That is
hilarious.
so good. That is so good.
Yeah.
Release the cows! Oh shit, they're coming back at this.
Stampede!
Turns out cows are pretty big and fucking bolshy as well. I imagine that if you got hit by one, you're probably not getting back up to have a scrap.
No. Also, cows are so heavy. So, like, yeah, they're great if you can get them in the right direction, but they get scared.
There's a reason they haven't been used, throughout history as like a
It's just the one and only time.
Because
this and in Zulu.
You go boo. They would say boo to goose, you say boo to them and they fuck off the other way.
Like gonzo, yeah. I think this and the time in the film Zulu when the fucking cows get let out of the paddock to stop them getting killed. You remember that scene? It's like they flow out like a river. This is the only 2 times in history cows have been used in war, and both times it's unbelievable. But still, the battle marches on, and now the pirates were at the city itself, which still had around 2,400 men to defend it. So fierce fighting continued for hours, and the pirates were using everything. They were using gunpowder grenades, which were relatively new. Muskets were firing off. They were burning things. They were causing chaos. And this was causing the Spanish to start losing more and more men. So the governor, who had promised he would burn the city to the ground before letting the pirates have it, ordered the troops to blow up gunpowder barrels around wooden buildings. So,
Game of Thrones,
nuclear option. So much of Panama burnt to the ground, and a lot of the wealth was gone, which actually meant the total spoils of war were relatively low. Some gold remained, but a lot of it had been taken out of the city with the ships before the battle anyway. So most of the people had left Panama. Most of the gold had left Panama after plundering what they could. So just to clarify, the fight's over by now. The Spanish had given up, retreated, escaped to the jungle, or escaped by boat, and the pirates had taken over. And there were still some poor bastards in Panama itself who couldn't afford to leave. So after plundering what they could, the pirates caused chaos and anguish to the poor folk in Panama. They torture, all the awful stuff that you'd imagine when a city gets sacked. They had decided to take what they could and go back to Sugarries and reassess and take stock. As the profits were much lower than anticipated, and ransoms for the city, nor the poor people in there were being met, the pirates were annoyed. Some pirates were looking to take the captured boats and set up their own pirate gang. So Captain Morgan destroyed those ships because he's a fucking boss bitch.
Christ.
They're like, we're going to take these ships and go our own way. It's like, are you? Or am I going to burn them as well, you pricks? He then had everyone searched, including himself naked, to make sure they weren't hiding any valuable loot. And now what happens next is just wild.
Himself, I love that.
Yeah, look at me, I got nothing on me.
Look at my massive cock.
What's all that in that bag over there? Don't worry about that. Chill out. So what happens next is I say wild. The whole story is pretty wild. Despite the fact that many of his men fought so bravely and viciously and helped him win, in an act of pure treachery, he just fucked off. He just snuck off with all the loot on his boat and just gone.
Morgan now.
Yeah. So he got all the loot on his boat.
Traitor.
He left most of the pirates stranded with no food, money, or means to escape. Then, to make matters worse, loads of pissed off Spaniards came back to kill them as a revenge for the lost countrymen.
Oh no!
And then
that has taken a turn that I did not want. I thought we were praising an impressive Welshman here. I mean, don't worry, the raping, pillaging aside, but I thought he was a man.
Maybe that's
of
why
honor,
he left. Maybe he was like, "Oh, do you know what, guys? This ain't for me."
But he said, "I don't really fancy a podcast being made about me later on."
No, I actually come across quite bad in all this, so I'm going to go.
Yeah.
To add a final twist in this tale, when all this was happening, Spain and England, because the English were happy with Captain Morgan doing this, he actually wanted him to do this. When this was going on, because it took a good couple of years, Spain and England had actually brokered a peace deal to stop their constant costly wars. But Captain Morgan didn't know this at the time. So, because the British government originally said, yeah, do this, it then looked like a provocation of war by the British because the message hasn't reached him in time. So he was meant to be imprisoned to show the British were not behind the attack. But when he got back to England, he was sort of revered as a hero and romanticized as this great buccaneer explorer. So he didn't face any jail time. I don't think he did anyway, from what I found. And he was eventually returned to Jamaica as Lieutenant Governor Sir Henry Morgan, even serving as acting governor from 1680 to 1682. and then
Fucking
died
hell.
peacefully in Jamaica, smoking
No,
a fat
no-
doobie. You know what I'm saying, brother?
Oh God.
Sorry,
We'll cut that.
Cut that.
I was about to say no good deed goes unpunished. I was gonna say,
Yeah.
but you've just outdone me with that. Now it's not really funny
Yeah.
after that, is it?
No. So yeah, what pirate's life for him? It's a
I know he's fucking gotten away with it. He's literally gotten away with
Yeah.
it. He's like fucking
it's a
what's his
charmed
name?
life, isn't it?
He's like Bruce Forsyth. He probably was
How?
definitely a pedo. Well, in that he was definitely a pedo, but he died before he got any sort of accusations made.
That's wild. Is Brucey even dead? And is he a pedo?
A, Brucey is 100% dead, and B, he's 100% a pedo.
You have caught me left field with that.
Right, just have a fucking look at the guy, all right? He just,
I mean, you're not wrong.
da 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 da. Come on, Bruce. Come on.
That is it.
He's got away
Jesus,
with
when you
it.
Google him, how is that a face? How is he not a villain? He looks like the guy from Lazy Town.
Very good. He died as well, didn't he? But he had the good graces to not be a pedo, so...
Yeah, Robbie Rotten.
I don't want him to get us done here for saying he is a pedo. I'm not saying he is one. I'm just saying he looks
you just said a minute ago, he 100% is a pedo.
Right, okay, but that's in my opinion, so like, you can't take it from
100%
me.
in my opinion.
Yeah, you can't take that from me. All right, fine, I'll adjust it.
You sound like one of those like Daily Mail like right wing people who goes, just my opinion, but I'm saying it is fact.
But it is fact, yeah. Also, I'll redact it later, but it'll be like on the fucking bottom of page fucking 70. But
yeah, we're sorry, we're racist.
All right,
Oh,
I'll adjust
job,
my
guys.
previous comment.
Yeah.
Got away with it like Savile then, all right? Savile didn't.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant. I thought
Yeah.
you just got confused. I thought you like.
Well,
just
no,
got something-
I mean both, but but Savile, he got
I'm
away
gonna
with it
join
because
you.
he didn't have. He
Brucey.
didn't have to. Yeah, come on, Bruce. I mean, I can look at Brucey and think he was entertaining,
that game?
but you can't.
Higher
You
or
can't
lower,
tell me
higher or lower.
there's something going
That's
to
what
come
you said
out.
about this.
And he kept saying lower, lower.
Yeah.
Every time.
Higher or lower, higher or lower. Right? It's a 10, lower. No.
It's fine to speak ill of a dead man, isn't it? I think that's the rule.
Yeah. I don't think you can libel the dead. So.
Yeah. What's he going to do? Sue me? I don't think so.
Let me. Can you libel the dead?
The cutting of this segment. Will
No, the
depend
dead
purely
cannot
on the
currently be.
results
Look at this. Can the
Can the
dead be
dead's
defamed?
estate, though?
In short, can the dead be defamed? In short, no. The dead cannot currently be defamed under English law.
Under English
because
law.
we've that sounds a bit weird.
The
That's
one
such
thing
an
the English
outdated
did good
term.
for us. What about the Welsh law? I bet bloody Draco's
Well, the
revoked
bastards.
that.
Yeah. I think for the last 400 years since we've always been under English and Welsh law, haven't we? Since we left being a principality.
So I stand by what I said.
Anyway. Yeah, nonce. In the long and short of it, nonce. So in this podcast, that's the end of the tale of Captain Morgan versus the city of Panama. But
Beautifully
what we
told,
like to
if
do in
I
this
say so
podcast-
myself.
Oh, diolch yn fawr. Thank you very much. We like to offer
Segment says
two
it, so right.
segments to this, this rambling podcast that's loosely based around just like history we've googled. It's called shit, I got something in my eye. We like to so Jack, I say this all the time, but Jack isn't so au fait with sports, but he's got on board with the idea of having a dick of the day and a man of the match. So in that we talk about who we think who helped win the battle, or who was the most heroic person of the tale, and who is the guy who fucked it up, who's the real
I totally understand
real
it these
Bruce
days.
of the gang.
I totally understand it. Dick of the day is who we think has the biggest dick. And
yeah, man of the match is who you want to
Let
kiss
it
the
go.
most.
Yeah, who's the biggest manly man? Like,
So, right, I'm going to start this week because I usually throw it to you. I'm going to start with my man of the match. So my man of the match is the little fucking psycho who fired that arrow that's piercing him when he fired it back at the Spaniards and blew up the wall.
yeah,
'Cause,
that guy
one-
definitely 100% existed and 100% did it as well. It's so true.
Well, it's wild. If it happened, it's incredible. Even if it didn't, the fact that someone decided to lie and say, "Oh, I'm going to bring this out and we fire it back over," it's good imagination.
I love the
What I
guy
really
probably
think happened.
just got hit
Go
by an
on.
arrow, and then the fucking wall exploded through no action of his own. He went, "Do you see what I did, boys? Do you see what I did there?" Like, yeah, it's
Well,
class.
I actually thought the same. I bet some like dopey little Spanish apprentice bloke like Manuel from Faulty Towers just dropped a match or something next to all the dynamite and he blew it up himself. And to cover his tracks, he's like, "Oh, did you see that?" Just
Yeah.
shouting out.
Thank you, Mr. Sachs, for lighting the fuel with a match. Yeah.
Yeah. How was the Spanish accent? See.
Oh, mate, don't make me try and do. To me, I've already called fucking
Paella.
Forsyth a pedo. I don't need to add racism to the mix.
Yeah, some xenophobic rant.
Yeah.
All I can think of is that song in Lonely Island when they say,
"All right, you've goaded me. Fine. I pulled the arrow out of my chest,
Well,
and
wow.
yeah.
Got an Englishman with a lisp. He said, "I've got a bloody."
You know, like how they say
arrow in my
paella.
mouth."
You know, like the paella that it's meant to be spelled. I was trying to do
Yeah.
that. I'm not very good at accents, right? So just
Well, it's like
right.
that's in the Lonely Island when they got that song. We went to when we were on the road in Spain. We noticed that people couldn't pronounce it. Let me read you the lyrics. It's so funny. We were on the road in Spain, and I noticed that the people pronounce the letter S like a F sound. So instead of saying Spain, they'd say Spain. You know, like the whole country is a crazy speech impediment. So I write this song about that.
That is fucking brilliant. Yeah.
If I was to do, "Hey, my name is Spain. I'm from Spain. We eat paella. We have paella," and that's a bit more Mexican or a bit more. Vote for Pedro. The Spanish. Yeah, all right. Let's not go down that route.
We all like with that, but we'll cut this shit.
Over to you. Yeah, cut.
We were going to do the Pedro go. I pulled my arrow out of my chest and I put it on the thing and I lighted the fuel.
And they threw a little on the fire, and now the fire
for Pedro for next
castle,
captain.
but for Pedro for the captain of the ship. I reckon we keep this in. Nothing can go wrong if we keep this in.
Is it offensive? Is it funny?
I don't think it's offensive because the Spanish aren't marginalised, although the Hispanic are. So we're in a real quandary here. Maybe if it makes a light of day, we made a decision and we stick by it.
When you DM us, guys, and you tell us, are we racist? Are we xenophobic?
Yeah.
Maybe not. Maybe
and if we are,
we're not going to change anything because it's already out there, isn't it? You know, we're already cancelled then. So
we'll just do a Tory style apology with our family by the gates and say, "Listen, we didn't do what we did was wrong."
I will literally cry on a webcam and go, "I never thought that this was ever going to happen, and I feel so sorry for everyone."
All right, hit me with your man of the match.
Man of the match, man. It's got to be the oxen. The oxen. I mean, I know they weren't...
Ollie oxen fly.
Ollie oxen fly, but I know they weren't driven by any sort of morals or like sort of loyalty to anything. But man, they sorted us. Because if the oxen had kept going, they probably would have, railroaded over a lot of the old pirates. But they didn't. They did the decent thing when they heard the gunshots and, followed their instincts, bucked off to the back and just battered someone.
One of the first times we've done this, I've got the exact same. Whosever idea it was to release cows as a military tactic is a fucking idiot.
Idiot. Yes, absolute idiot. Hang on, so that was my man of the match. Is that your dick of the day? Are we linking up, are we?
I've had a few beers. I got confused.
The Venn diagram is finally overlapped.
Well, my dick of the day, you got me. I got it wrong. Mine is the cow. So let's go back a second. Actually, no. We'll do the whole. You do your dick of the day in a second, and then we'll reconverge to see who is the actual man of the match and who's the dick of the day. And let me just give my piece for why I think the cows are the dick of the day. Cows have been with humans forever, and not once were they used as vehicles of war. So I'm not saying the cows are the dick of the day. I'm saying the man who released them is the dick of the day.
Oh, I feel like we're having the same conversation as we had on one of our previous episodes, where I said the heavy horse were not to be blamed, and you said, we were just following orders, sir. Just following orders. You're a Nazi sympathiser, mate. That's what you are.
No, you were the Nazi sympathiser.
No, mate. The scales have changed now, right?
No, I think you were saying the cows are the man of the match, and I'm saying the dick of the day is the man responsible for releasing the cows, and it was a man. Of course,
I think that's fair. Yeah, the man went.
Yeah.
Some man went. Release the cows. They'll be fucking brilliant. And then they heard, and they just fucking went. Nah, gonna come the other way now. And he went, what's going on? I can't believe the cows are unreliable. They've been used in war since Alexander the Great, surely.
Yeah. And it's like I said, that one scene in Zulu where they rush out and create a little sea of cows. But come on, that was a film, and also 200 years later, like it's just I don't buy it. It ain't happening. Whoever thought of it, they're fucking idiots.
You had Michael Caine in the ranks. Idiots. Maybe he'd sort it out.
Yeah.
But...
45%. Got a Sergeant Ball.
That guy going, butchers of men.
Damn you, Chard. Damn all you butchers. I love that film so much.
Yeah.
Man,
we should quote it more.
That's
an episode we got to do at some point, surely.
I was going to say, yeah, we could do like a film episode where we just watch a film and commentate along next to it.
Oh, yes, please.
Yeah, because the battle itself, we know it. Let's watch the film. Yeah. Anyway, that's admin.
That's next, yeah.
So who was your dick of the day then?
Dick of the day, I'd probably go for the matey boy who burned his own town to the ground. I kind of get it. Yeah, what's his name? Louis Guzman, yeah, the actor.
Yeah.
I kind of feel bad. Feel bad because I get it, you know what I mean? You're going, I'd rather burn my town to the ground than have the enemy take it. But it's also just such like it's almost like a sore loser move, you know. You like throw the Monopoly board off the table when you're losing. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, man, you fucking you did your best defense, and matey boy fucking beat you. Just fucking take it on the chin. Maybe live to fight another day or whatever. Don't be a dick, like.
Well, also, I think he did get punished by the Spanish when he went back. I think he got like. Because I think he fucked up some other battles, and the Spanish were like, do you know what? Why are you so high up your shit? I think he got arrested for being a prick or being a Luis Guzman impersonator.
Yeah, you've been in many films, but that won't save you now.
Yeah. So I reckon it's quite a tough one. But for man of the match, I think I like to think that the romantic idea of this pirate pulling out the arrow and firing it back.
Yeah, and I'll go for that because I love you know me, I'm a fucking mythology.
Yeah,
nerd.
You love a bit of mythos, don't you?
So this is how all mythology is made in like fucking just grand stories. So I'm all for that.
If it's a case of print the truth or print the legend, I say print the legend. That's a deep cut for any of you.
That's very good. Yeah, that's a thinking man's reference right
there. All right, and then for the second one, dick of the day, the guy who released the cow or Guzman who did fuck up and burn it. I think Guzman burned an entire city down.
Yeah, absolute sore loser.
But he did have a lot of good ideas.
Just because I've got fucking Mayfair on Monopoly, you're going to start kicking off. Like, it's this joke.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to play. This is a tangent. I want to play board game. I always say that. Then I look at them and think, I bought an Xbox. That's way better. Let's
get the Panama version of Monopoly.
Yeah. So, all right, Guzman. I feel like it's tough because he did have lots of good ideas, like scorching all the earth and getting people out of there.
Yeah, he wasn't a bad tactician, but he just a couple of things let him down. And it's more to me, it's more the sore loser aspect. Like, come on, mate.
Okay,
you know the pirates beat you fair and square. You know, let him have the riches.
By pirates.
Yeah, you were beaten by dirty cutthroats. Yeah, just let him have your riches. Yeah. And also, he seems like one of those guys that like fucking fails upwards, you know.
Yeah, he's a fucking Matt Hancock of the pirate of the
exactly
16th, 17th century.
Fucks up all the time, but still gets fucking great positions.
Let's give that then to Dick of the Day to Guzman. I'm happy with that. I think that's a wild story, wasn't it?
It's a wild battle, man. Like the fact that they released cows and it got fucking turned on its head and crazy stuff.
Yeah. So, should we wrap that up there for another episode? Should we say, if you want to follow us, well, we'd appreciate if you follow us on Twitter at Tails4Wales, so Tails4Wales. Drop us a message with any episodes you want us to do or any interesting facts or tidbits. If you've got any criticism or like tips how we get better, shove it up your ass and fuck yourself, because we don't want to hear it.
Yeah, as usual,
we can't stress that enough.
Criticism is not welcome in any shape or form. You
No.
either like us how we are. We're not going to improve. We're not going to better ourselves. We're not going to change. So you either tune in.
I will fight you if you want to.
Literally.
Yeah, if you've got a criticism, I love fighting. I will fight you if you want to go across over this.
You can DM us.
History of fighting.
DM us.
We always go so aggressive.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to, in this market, it's tough, isn't it?
You got to.
DM us if you want to have a scrap. If you want to give us criticism, DM us with your 5 hardest mates.
Go bring your 5 hardest mates and we'll have a pop.
And we'll say, haha, we won. This was all a joke anyway.
Yeah.
So
haha, fuck you. Yeah, and then we'll bring our 5 hardest mates and we'll kick your fucking skull in, and I'll let you throw the first punch. I've had my 10 pints of curling.
Yeah. That's the old Carly talking, isn't it?
Yeah. Honestly, thanks for listening, guys.
But on a real level, thank you so much for giving us a chance.
Picture me putting my arm around your shoulder right now and like a very beery breath going, "No, thing is though, mate, you're top lad, really."
The thing is though, when at the end of the day, when you really think about it, we fucking love you boys now.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for your moment. That's us.
Thank you for your moment, guys. Cheers now. Ta-da.
Bye.